Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is 1 minute. We're gonna try and get this up every day. So if you want to stay updated with us, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another episode. Now today, we're talking about turning pain into power. Look, sometimes life is gonna be hard, okay? You're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get knocked down, you're gonna experience some form of pain. It could be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, whatever it is. Like right now, for example, I have a tooth that is giving me a ton of problems. It's been bothering me for months and months and months and months. And man, like sometimes when I wake up in the morning, it's like my gums are all puffy. The tooth is throbbing. There's stuff coming out of it. It's nasty. Okay, that's pain. That's physical pain that I have to go through, and it sucks, but you know what? I got an appointment to go see the dentist on Friday to get that thing pulled. Now, there are people that have way worse pain than that. They have cancer, they have autoimmune diseases, they have relationships that are causing them emotional distress. Maybe you lost your job, or maybe you just feel like you're not living up to your potential. Maybe you're living somebody else's expectations, or maybe you're trying to meet some standards that you set for yourself and you're beating yourself up because you haven't achieved them yet. Well, look, whatever it is, whatever pain you're going through, I'm here to tell you that that is an opportunity for you to tap into your potential. I want you to think about the most successful person that you know, whether that's your celebrity, someone you know personally, someone you read about. Think of that person for a second. Do you think they got to where they are without any pain? No. Everyone experiences pain and everyone experiences success. It's unavoidable. Pain is inevitable. Success is inevitable. One will always follow the other. One will always be connected to the other. So, what do you want? Do you want to be successful? Then you gotta go through some pain. And look, the key to this is understanding how to use the pain. How to use the suffering. Because look, pain is temporary. Suffering is optional. Let me say that again. Pain is temporary. Suffering is optional. The pain might be temporary, but the success that follows can be everlasting. You ever thought about that? You ever put it in those terms before? Now, I want you to think about the relationship between pain and success and what I'm about to share with you right now. Think about it from the perspective of your own personal training, okay? You hired somebody to come help you with your fitness level. You wanted to take your body to a place it's never been before. So you hired somebody to be your personal trainer. What do you think that personal trainer is gonna have you do? Things you've never done before. You're gonna lift heavier weights than you ever lifted before. You're gonna run farther than you ever ran before. You're gonna push your body to its absolute limit. You're gonna do things that are uncomfortable, and guess what? As you do those things, your muscles are gonna get torn apart at the microscopic level. Okay, that's pain. Your body is experiencing pain. But you know what? You're getting stronger. You're building muscle. You're increasing your endurance. You're becoming more powerful. You're becoming more beautiful. Your body is changing because you're willing to go through the pain. What about from the perspective of learning a new skill? Okay, let's say you want to learn how to play guitar. You want to learn how to code. You want to learn how to speak another language. You want to learn how to cook. You want to learn how to DJ. Whatever it is, whatever that new skill is that you want to acquire, it's going to require practice. You're going to have to do things that are uncomfortable. You're gonna have to stretch yourself. You're gonna have to build calluses. You're gonna have to increase your endurance. You're gonna have to expand your skill set. You're gonna have to develop mastery over something that right now you lack. You're gonna have to fail many times before you eventually succeed. Okay, so you're gonna experience some pain. But you know what? You're gaining a new skill. You're developing a new competency. You're becoming more powerful, more capable, more confident. It's no different when it comes to your finances, your business, your career, your relationships, your spirituality. Anytime you want to expand, anytime you want to grow, anytime you want to evolve, anytime you want to become something more, it's gonna require that you go through some pain. And look, if you really understand this principle, then you should be excited about pain. You should actually look forward to it because you know the success that's on the other side of it. But most people do the exact opposite. Most people do everything they can to avoid pain. They're constantly looking for ways to escape and run away from their problems. They're constantly looking for ways to numb their emotions. They're constantly trying to fill the void instead of confronting it. Look, I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and I asked him how he was doing, and he said, "Man, I'm going through it right now. Life is really tough." And I said, "Well, guess what? That means you're alive. That means you're growing. That means you're evolving. That means you're expanding. That means you're becoming something more." But he didn't see it that way. He saw it as a curse. He saw it as something negative. He saw it as something that he needed to complain about. But look, it's your choice. You can either choose to embrace it and move forward, or you can choose to reject it and move backwards. Look, I want you to hear these 3 statements and really think about them for a second. The first statement is this: great victories demand great sacrifices. Now, you may not agree with that statement 100%, but I want you to think about it. When was the last time you accomplished something great in your life? I'm not talking about something small or something insignificant. I'm talking about something great. Something great, by definition, implies some level of sacrifice. Think about the student that gets straight A's in school. That student probably spent more time studying than the average student. They probably had to make more sacrifices than the average student. Think about the athlete that wins the championship. That athlete probably trained harder than their competitors. They probably had to make more sacrifices than their competitors. Think about the entrepreneur that starts a multi-million-dollar business. That entrepreneur probably had to work longer hours than the average person. They probably had to make more sacrifices than the average person. Think about the artist that becomes world famous. That artist probably had to practice their craft more than the average person. They probably had to make more sacrifices than the average person. The point is this: if you want to accomplish something great, you gotta make some great sacrifices. That's just the way it is. Here's the second statement I want you to think about. If it hurts, you're growing. This is a quote from Ryan Holiday, who is the author of Obstacle is the Way. He says, if it hurts, you're growing. If you're experiencing pain, if you're experiencing discomfort, it means you're expanding. It means you're evolving. It means you're becoming something more. Don't try and escape it. Don't try and run from it. Don't try and hide from it. Don't try and ignore it. Face it head on. Embrace it. Become it. Let it consume you. Turn that pain into fuel. Turn that suffering into power. And finally, the third statement I want you to think about is this: nothing changes in your life until you change. You heard that. Nothing changes in your life until you change. You can't expect different results if you keep doing the same things. If you want something different, if you want something better, you're gonna have to become something different. You're gonna have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. You're gonna have to be willing to confront your fears. You're gonna have to be willing to push through the pain. You're gonna have to be willing to sacrifice. You're gonna have to be willing to endure. You're gonna have to be willing to persist. You're gonna have to be willing to push forward. You're gonna have to be willing to trust the process. You're gonna have to be willing to surrender to the unknown. Now listen, I know that none of this is easy, okay? None of this is simple. But look, we were not meant to live simple lives, okay? We were not put here to be average. We were put here to be extraordinary. We were put here to be limitless. You're limitless. Don't ever forget that. We're not here to be ordinary. We're here to be extraordinary. And that's why I created our free newsletter called Limitless. It's a collection of our best videos, articles, podcasts, music, all designed to help you break through your limiting beliefs and live a limitless life. Go to our website and sign up for Limitless today. It's completely free and it's gonna change your life. I promise you that. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us here. We're gonna try and keep you motivated every single day. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.